Now, Trump's new Attorney General, William Barr, is in the hot seat over his position, of course, for trying to dismantle the ACA. So there are a bunch of hearings here, and of course, some is on whether or not he will release the full Mueller report after he's done redacting the crap out of it. In fact, Democrats are like, no, we don't want it redacted. We actually want to read what Mueller had said because there's a lot of disagreement. But something that isn't getting covered as much is the Justice Department's attempts to destroy the ACA, which would strip millions of their health insurance. Now, this happened during a House Appropriations Committee hearing. You had Pennsylvania Democrat Representative Matt Cartwright going after Barr and asking him if he had a plan for these millions of people who will be without health insurance if the Justice Department successfully challenges and repeals the health care law. And of course, unsurprisingly, he could not answer that simple question. And I want to show you the video of this because I think you will find it quite enlightening. Watch.
The Department of Justice's refusal to defend our law, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, is distressing because of the harm that it poses to the physical and financial well-being of millions of Americans, and also because DOJ's refusal appears to be driven by political considerations rather than health care policy discussions or sound legal arguments. Attorney General Barr, you're not a health care policy expert, but your department is taking the lead on attempting a massive overhaul of our American health care system. So I want to make sure we agree on a few of the top-line facts. And let's go through a couple of quick yes or no questions at the outset. Number one, have you conducted or viewed an analysis to evaluate the effects of DOJ's litigation position to overturn the ACA, the effects on consumer costs and coverage? Have you done that analysis or have you reviewed one?
Well, when we're faced with a legal question, we try to base our answer on the law.
On the law. So the answer is no. And here's the thing. I can't imagine that you would take that kind of a drastic action without even trying to evaluate the consequences for the American consumers, the people using the health care, the people for whom these premiums are paid.
All right, so I love the snark from Mr. Cartwright. Representative Cartwright, sorry. Well, I just can't imagine that you would take that kind of dramatic action without even trying to evaluate. You know what he's saying, like, yeah, I know you would absolutely do that because it's very obvious that that's what you're doing, that you don't actually care about the people who will possibly lose their health insurance. And actually, if this does go through, they would absolutely lose their health insurance. And some people would, of course, as a result, die. So no, they would not evaluate the consequences. Why would they do that? They already know exactly what they want to do. Again, they don't care that people can't, afford their health insurance and that they will lose their health insurance because they want a system where health insurance companies have the power to charge you whatever they want. Deny you coverage if you're sick. And of course, if you can't afford that coverage, basically they want to put you in a position like we had before. If you ain't got the money, you die. And look, there are still a lot of Americans that are still in that position. Now, that's, of course, why I'm not a huge fan of the ACA. I think we need Medicare for all. We need it now. But the ACA, of course, was a small step in that direction, and it was a positive step. I benefited from the ACA. There are a lot of people that I know that have benefited from the ACA. But, of course, it is just a small step. We actually need to go much, much further. Okay? Now, thing is, Republicans spent years and ran political campaigns on trying to destroy what little people got from the ACA without a plan to replace it. Because, look, at first they didn't need a plan. Oh, ACA is bad. Right? Obamacare bad. I'm going to get rid of Obamacare, vote for me. And that actually did help in some of their elections. But it also, their insistence in repealing it for which they tried about 70 plus times without a replacement, it eventually backfired on them because, oops, they got into power, tried to repeal it, and you had, of course, during that whole process, you had the famous John McCain no vote, which basically destroyed them. So, and their replacement plan, of course, that they came up with was completely disastrous. It pulled at like 30%. Nobody wanted it because it would have been far worse than what we actually have, which, as I mentioned before, is not the greatest system in the world. And we can do much, much better. Now, what they had before, of course, or what we had before, is basically their plan. That's what they wanted to go back to. But now, of course, since the ACA is pulling at about 50% and has things in it that people actually do like, for example, covering pre-existing conditions, the Medicaid expansion, that is very, very helpful to at least the states that actually approved it. And so the Republicans, they can't get away with getting rid of the whole thing. Now they have to replace it. Now they have no idea how. And that's why Republicans have completely freaked out over this. Again, a little timeline here. First, Donald Trump decides, I'm going to go after the ACA after the whole Mueller thing, the Barr report. And so he's like, I don't know. I got something. All I have is repeal Obamacare and immigration. I have nothing else. I'm going to get destroyed in the polls. His own internal polling is bad enough to where his campaign manager says, you need to stop tweeting. You need to stop doing it now because you are just getting yourself in even worse trouble. And Trump comes out and says, I'm going to get rid of Obamacare. We are, the GOP is the party of healthcare. And Mitch McConnell's like, no, it's not, you idiot. I don't want to have this fight. I don't want to have this fight right before an election. We're going to get absolutely crushed. Why? Because we don't have a plan. We don't have a plan, you idiot. How dumb are you? Why would you just come out there and unilaterally say, I'm going to get rid of the ACA when we've got nothing? You moron of morons. You need to stop. And of course, after that stern talking to from Mitch McConnell, Trump says, I'll do it after the election. I'll do it after the election, okay? After. And they still don't have a plan. Oh, man. And look, the GOP, guys, you know this. They are not the party of healthcare. They are the party of letting insurance companies bankrupt you. And look, the Democrats, I know they're not much better on this issue. At least some of the Democrats have embraced single payer, but not all of them. Bernie Sanders is one of the few that have actually, I think he's the only one that has said, no insurance companies. We're going to get rid of the health insurance companies. The rest of the Democrats are like, well, believe in universal health care. We can go to single payer. And that's just one of the many other options. But, you know, we're going to keep private insurance. Then it's not true single payer. So congratulations on being super weak on that. On an issue that polls 70% of the American people want it. Single payer health care. So, I mean, look, Nancy Pelosi's issue on this is, I'm agnostic about the Medicare for all. I mean, I don't even know if it covers the stuff that ACA covers, or that it would be better. No, it would absolutely better. Bernie Sanders is now coming out and reintroducing an updated Medicare for all bill. And what we've seen of the last one is that it far expands benefits that were already included in Medicare. Vision, dental, reproductive. And so it's actually really good for women as well. Now, the donuts on Twitter will try to tell you, oh, no, it's actually bad for women. No, Medicare for all. Ridiculous, absolute lies. Go and actually look at the piece of legislation that is going to be coming out and past iterations of it, and you will realize it is incredibly comprehensive and detailed. The only person running in this race that has more detailed policy positions than Bernie Sanders is Elizabeth Warren. And that's, of course, just because she's a policy wonk. She's a terrible campaigner. She's a terrible politician. But the one thing she does know is policy. And her policies are a little bit more detailed than Bernie Sanders, which shows that Sanders has been working on these policies for quite some time. And so they're incredibly detailed. So I would urge everyone watching, look that up. Look it up. Anyway, more. let's see. Hold on here. Okay, I do have one more video on William Barr, and so I'm just gonna get to that because he's got a snarky little answer about what might happen if they are successful. Take a look.
But let's start the process of
you mean
thinking through
in
that,
the
if
event
we
that
may.
the law
If
is
you're
struck
successful in this lawsuit that you're supporting, and the entire Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act is struck down, millions of Americans who currently receive health insurance coverage under the law are at risk of losing that coverage. Am I correct in that?
I think the president has made clear that he favors not only pre-existing conditions, but would like action on a broad health plan. So he is proposing a substitute for Obamacare.
The one that's going to come after the next election, you mean?
The one that will come down if and when.
Well, let me be
Obamacare
the
is
one to
struck
inform
down.
you, should the law be struck down, millions of people who get their coverage through the ACA marketplace would lose their coverage, and tens of millions more would see their premiums skyrocket. In addition, if you're successful, 12 million people nationally and 750,000 people in my home state of Pennsylvania who have coverage under the Medicaid expansion would also likely lose that coverage. Am I correct in that, sir?
Do you think it's likely we are going to prevail?
If you prevail, well, you're devoting scarce resources of your department toward that effort, are you not, Attorney General?
We're in litigation. We have to take a
The
position.
answer is yes.
We
So
take
you're trying
position
to
in
get it
litigation.
invalidated, and if you succeed, that many people will lose their coverage nationally from Medicaid and 750,000 from Pennsylvania alone, right?
I'm just saying that if you think it's such an outrageous position, you have nothing to worry about. Let the courts do their job.
That's his answer. That's his answer. I mean, if you think it's so outrageous, you've got nothing to worry about. Well, then why are you pushing for it? Why? What is that even supposed to mean? You got nothing to worry about, man. So if William Barr thinks, it's got nothing to worry about, I'm just pushing this on the off chance that maybe I'll win, but I'm assuming that I'm not going to win. Well, then what's the point? What's the point? Why take it to court? Again, Mitch McConnell doesn't want this. The American people don't want this. Why do it? Well, it's because it's politics. Look, Donald Trump hates Obamacare. He hates the ACA, right? And, of course, there's one reason why he hates Obamacare, and it has to do with the word Obama. Simply. And that's the whole purpose, right? Is to try to strip away President Barack Obama's signature achievement, right, during his time in office. Because he hates it. He can't stand it. It's all about jealousy when it comes to Donald Trump. And now William Barr, of course, William Barr is his lackey, right? Again, what you've seen so far when it came to the Mueller report, and now when it comes to this, you can tell he's there for one reason. He's there to please Donald Trump. And Donald Trump says, get rid of Obamacare for me. And Barr says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will. Right away, sir. I will do whatever I can to undermine and eliminate the ACA. That's why I'm joining this ridiculous lawsuit and putting the Justice Department's resources behind getting rid of this so that we can deprive millions of people of their health insurance. Now, the thing is, Donald Trump is going to lose. He's going to lose badly on this issue. Why do I say that? Well, again, the ACA polls at about 50%. That's a lot higher than it actually used to be. Definitely higher than the GOP plan. But not only that, in the midterm election, which was the blue wave, right? Healthcare was the top issue that brought people out to the polls. The attempts to repeal the ACA and replace it with an inferior plan pissed off so many people that it got them out to the polls to vote against the Republicans to sweep 40 seats in the House, giving it to control the Democrats. That blue wave crashed right over Republican heads. And of course, it's because the Republicans blew it on health care. And Barr, on Trump's orders, is going to try to do it again. What kind of strategy is this? Well, look, there is no strategy, right? There is no policy behind this. There's no like three-dimensional chess going on with Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't even know how to play checkers. He's an idiot. He's not a smart person. He's doing this for politics, at a ham-handed, ham-fisted attempt to try to play politics and get what he wants. And he is, at the end of the day, going to get crushed. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.